Connor Johnson, another friend of the show and then of the all the channels, bringing up the two Beavs that came in. There's Akili Arnold, who's a safety, and then also Easton Mascarenas-Arnold, who is the linebacker, which I'm really interested to see. This guy's an NFL linebacker, and just played lights out last year. It's coming to USC. He's going to be right there with that middle linebacker position. Is going to be a pretty sick competition. It's one of the better competitions you're going to see in the spring. It's going to be, I mean, the safety. It's a great time to have this defensive staff because there is a lot of talent that they've amassed on defense at safety, at corner, and at linebacker. You guys, and I'm not even talking about the defensive line yet. I'm just talking about those skill positions. There's a lot of talent, and the cream is gonna rise to the top. And I think you can almost bank on Mascarenas-Arnold. You can almost pencil him. I honestly think I don't know. I have no inside information. I'm just kind of thinking, he and Cobb are going to slug it out in the spring. Both guys, came in as like all conference selections, I believe, at their position. I'm not judging Mason Cobb on last year. We all know the mess that they were thrown into, especially the linebacker units. So it's going to be, again, we're in a great position because there are going to be whoever gets that nod. And it's not going to be because it was promised to them before they came in high school and came onto the campus. These guys there's going to be some real competition. Matt Ensign, these guys, the pads are going to be popping. I know that, you're going to have that going on. And whoever takes the mantle is going to be the dude. And, again, Arnold's going to play on Sundays. So it's going to be great to see what that competition brings.
Yeah,
here goes Zombie
defense. I was just going to say took a step back last year, but they were arguably the best in the conference the year before. Mascarenas had 107 tackles last year and 2 picks, and Arnold had 60 tackles and 2 picks and 6 passes defensed. So
they lost a lot in the secondary. That's where their corners, and I think they lost a safety. I'm sure Connor can fill us in. I forgot already, but this would be amazing. So if you have the two of the Beavs come in, I mean, I don't know what that does. That's a curious question. What that does for morale on the team. I mean, you bring in 2 guys in from the portal and they become captains, or maybe it speaks to their character and they came in and maybe in the off season they're leading by example. They're veteran guys and they're hitting it.
I mean, doesn't that send a message though? Like no one on last year's team was worthy of that level of stature. And so like if someone on last year's roster wants to get that status, they're going to have to do something special. Like, so right now that's not the case. So I think that's a message just to the holdovers on this team. I want to circle back though. I highlighted Jeff Rodriguez's comment a little bit earlier about, because in the chat's still going on about Monheim and the offensive line. And I know we already talked about it, but before we go, I think it's worth circling back. Jeff made the point he's not sure about getting a center in the transfer portal. We do have the transfer portal spring window opening up in roughly a month on April 16th. So I want to say I fully agree with Jeff here. Like bringing in a center through the portal, like the center and the quarterback have to have their own very easy communication method, system, rapport. That communication dynamic needs to be very fluid, very smooth. Needs to be very instinctual, automatic. So if you're renting a 1-year guy in the portal at center, that means these guys have to establish a relationship after the spring. And we're getting into Deion Sanders, Colorado territory, where he totally overhauled the roster after the spring game, and it was just throwing a bunch of guys in a blender. And I mean, it worked out amazingly well in the first few months, but then reality began to set in as the quality of competition increased. So yeah, I don't want to get a center in the transfer portal, because then Miller Moss has to start from the ground up in terms of a communication dynamic, with that incoming portal center. Definitely just get a stud tackle who can just win his one-on-one battle on an island on the edge. Like that just lends itself much more to the portal than a center does. So definitely want to express my agreement with Jeff there.
Folks, we appreciate your time here at the Voice of College Football each and every Monday night with these two and myself. It's at 7 o'clock Pacific time. And then you can catch Matt and Tim just about every Friday. Now, of course, we're into March Madness here. And Matt's got a ton of responsibilities to deal with. So just bear with us. We'll get through March Madness. Enjoy March Madness yourself. But we will be here twice a week most of the time. And we'll be back ready to roll during the back half of spring practice there in April as well. And Tim's going to be covering spring practice, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting. So just like previous practices, you don't really get to see a lot of the practice. It's really just a lot of, just like many programs around the country now. You go, you get to see them warm up a little bit, do some individual drills, and then, then the media is ushered out and then brought in back at the end to talk, to the offense and then talk to the defense. So something along those lines. It's not very clear. I'm just going off of what's been done in the previous. This will be my first time doing it. Really looking forward to it. I'm excited about the whole situation.